So we just found the best bartender in Dallas, and in this video I'm going to break down how we did it and who it is. My name is John. I'm the founder of Speedrailz, also the Power of B2C Creative. We're a media and event agency started by a Bartender the CEO. That's also my personal handle. I believe that on this side of hospitality, we haven't had a chance to really go out there and really start touching our consumers and telling our stories. So this platform has ultimately become into that. And here in Dallas, we've been on a quest to find the best bartender. We've had a chance to visit multiple venues, see some of these bartenders in their own element, but then we brought them here to Chop Sports McKinney, a growing suburb. Great median salary, explosive opportunities for everybody involved, and I think these are the type of places we need to be looking at as a hospitality industry, figuring out where we can find new places to grow. And this was the home base of the tournament, where we had all 12 of the bartenders come here to compete for the best bartender Dallas Speedrailz Championship. So first things first, we have the 12 bartenders come into Chop Sports McKinney to qualify. That's where they had to make a Cosmo, an Old Fashioned, a Water Moccasin, and a Lemon Drop. They already knew what they were making coming into here. The 8 fastest ended up advancing to the finals. In the finals, not only was it based on speed, but we also had a craft component as well. So our sponsors ended up being the William Grant portfolio. We had Tullamore Dew, we had Hendrix, we also had Reyka Vodka, Glenfiddich, and Milagro Tequila. And so thankful to RDC for helping to accommodate that play. These two, Cheryl and Josh, were super accommodating. They actually came in and coached all the bartenders on the Hendrix Spirit, because we ended up making them use an Eastern Standard Riff as their cocktail base, of which they ended up adding all their creativity to come with their individual cocktails, which you will see here. How we go about finding the best bartender in Dallas is we took a combination of their craft score placement, meaning 1st through 8th, and then we combined it with their speed tournament placement. So it was a single round elimination 1v1. So say you lost in the first round, the highest you can get was, 5th, but you made it to the second round and so forth. So you could end up getting 3rd place in craft and getting 2nd place in speed and still have a chance of winning, as long as you fared well against other competitors. And so here in this craft competition, you can see these bartenders had amazing cocktails. Everybody got super creative, colors are all over the place. Everybody was super strict to making sure the cucumber, the mint, the lime juice was in this cocktail. All the things is really helping to promote this Hendrix gin that's in it. And I gotta give a big, huge shout out to my judges. We had Zach, he's a world-class competitive bartender, beverage director out there in Austin, for coming out here. I have Nick, bartender turned entrepreneur. He's the guy who's had a chance to work across many different venues. He's seen a lot of different venues and bars, because he's the pull-up king as well. So he's had a chance to taste different good products. And we also had Alyssa. Alyssa's a serial competitor. She's also an entrepreneur herself. She just launched her own puree company out here. These people are actually amazing veteran industry vets who can come in here and offer some constructive criticism. So that's why I was super excited to have them judge our competitors' cocktails. And they had some very amazing insights on each person's cocktail I think that they can use going forward, and some of you guys watching this can learn from them and kind of get a chance to see how you can incorporate it to your own creativity development. Now with this craft competition, there can only be one winner, and I had to give it to my boy Gabe. Gabe came in with an amazing cocktail, had the IV drip bag set up, dripping into the cocktail. He was wearing a Hendrix apron. So you understand these craft cocktail competitions, you need to make sure that you are promoting the product within it all, so that way that you also can showcase your product knowledge, because as a customer, when you're ordering these drinks, you want to know what's in it. And as a bartender, you need to know what's in it, all of it. So if you're making all the other ingredients, you need to make sure you take a dedicated amount of time to understand the other spirit products that you're adding to it, especially in 2025, where people are super digestive conscious of what's going on in their body. Next up, we had Alan. Alan ended up doing a sweet tea rendition, made sure to have the Cowboys theme into it. He's a country guy. I think he even worked on a pig farmer before, but he loves sweet tea, so he ended up creating a cocktail that was reminiscent of that. And next up, we have my boy Tyson. He came in 3rd. And so this placement of this craft cocktail competition is very important. I need you to remember this at the end of the video. But after we finished up the craft cocktail competition, we ended up going to our speed tournaments. Like I said, this was sudden death, single elimination. First up, we had Alan going against Tristan. Got to give my boy Tristan hella props, because Tristan just signed up 2 weeks ago, just found out about Speedrailz from Facebook. And we just launched a Facebook account just a few months ago, so he literally just found out about Speedrailz, was able to come in here and qualify, and he ended up unluckily getting the first draw. So on that qualifying round day, he ended up going first just hearing about Speedrailz, ended up making it into the actual finals, and then he showed up here, had a great cocktail, and ended up having a great showing. Alan unfortunately came out on top. Alan was the #1 seed, so it was an uphill battle anyway going into it. Next up, we had Gabe going against Julian. Julian is a rookie to Speedrailz, just like Tristan is. Julian is somebody who's actually been watching the content for a few months. And matter of fact, Nick, one of the judges, was somebody who introduced Julian back into the concept, maybe back in July, but Julian wasn't able to sign up in time. But Julian, well respected in the community. I think out of all the videos we were putting out with the interviews, his ended up getting the most engagement. And a lot of times, this lets me know a lot of times that this is a person who is respected. This is a person who probably has a lot of people pulling up on him. And for him to come to McKinney, have a couple people still showing support, it shows you how good of a bartender he actually is. And he was going up against Gabe. Gabe is a behemoth. He's a beverage director, serial competitor. Like I said, he already came first in the craft competition. And on top of that, he even has competed in Speedrailz before, making it out to Austin in 2024, making it to last man standing. It was a 32 bartender tournament. He ended up making it to the finals. So this guy is in no slump. But he lost to Julian because we do have some rules in place which can end up, being a hindrance to somebody if you aren't on top of your game. And Gabe told me already, having to focus on creating a dope craft cocktail while also preparing for the speed competition, while of course working a full-time job, being a full-time boyfriend, there's going to be a drop-off somewhere. So he had to take, his hits where he could. And since he had previous Speedrailz experience, I think he probably kind of took the hit on preparing on the mechanical execution of it all. Next up, we ended up having Oak Click Sticks versus Tyson. Tyson came in third in the craft cocktail competition, but also, once again, a rookie. He is also another person who just found out about Speedrailz a couple weeks ago. Random YouTube video popped up, and honestly, he loved everything about it. And honestly, the way he talks to me, I can tell he's digested a lot of content really quickly, as he's able to almost repeat the vision that I've already been putting out there, more so than people who I've known a couple years. He's going against Oak Cliff Sticks. Sticks is creative, as you can tell by just the way he dressed. He's also a dancer. He loves creative expression. Very emotional guy, and he's been a part of Speedrailz since our inception. He signed up for our first contest a year ago, May 15th, and he came out here. He ended up having a couple errors, and critical errors, where one, he ended up mixing up his drinks where the snackery was missing some ingredients, and it got combined with another tea over here. And in Speedrailz, if you end up swapping drinks, it's double the penalty, because at the end of the day, you're pissing off two guests. Where something's missing something and something's got added to it, it's going to be devastating. Tyson ends up advancing to the next round. And in the last round of the first round, we have Emily going up against Ruby. Ruby, this is her home court in McKinney. She actually works at the Kelp in downtown McKinney. It's right next to the sign of McKinney. And Emily is a Speedrailz vet. She actually was in Houston when she first signed up for it. She was my teammate. We won a tournament. You know what I mean? What can I say? And then we also had a chance to collaborate on another tournament in season 3. Now she ends up moves into Ennis, which is right outside of Dallas, but this is her hometown, so she's super excited to compete out here. She has the advantage on Ruby, but Ruby did have a faster qualifying time. And I'll tell you what, Ruby had a huge amount of people here. So many people that I think it could be a distraction. They're yelling her name, and she's a rookie. She hasn't been here before. There's a lot of things that you don't understand, especially when it's the qualifying round where she did a good job at. You know what drinks you're looking at. There's this round where you're turning the surface well ticket over. You don't know what you're looking at. And in fact, they ended up having a really hard ticket. They had an espresso martini with salt on it, and they also had a dirty vodka gin martini with tahini on it. And so that lets you know just the type of tickets that you can turn around that you need to be expecting, and that's why you having your sequence of operations is so critical, so that way that as these things pop up, you already know what movements you're doing, so that way that one modification doesn't throw you off your game. And Emily, I think it threw her off her game. As soon as she flipped the ticket over, I can see the disgust on her face. And as a service well volume bartender, you cannot be affected by the drinks on the ticket, because it'll slow down your efficiency and it'll put you in the weeds, which will really piss you off. Ruby advance to the second round. So check that out. Out of the first round, we have Alan, we have Julian, we have Tyson, we have Ruby advance to the next round as one veteran, as 3 rookies. Crazy, upsets everywhere. These times are horrendous, by the way. Not only are the modifications, which probably the hardest modifications I've ever thrown at a bartender, are slowing them down, but we also do temperature checks on the drinks. So the drinks need to be coming out at 37 degrees after they push the stop button. And everybody was hot. And unfortunately, we're on the roof. We're hot in Texas, but you know what? Everybody has that working against them. So if everybody's drinks hot, then it's not really a big deal, but at the same time, it doesn't change the fact that I want a cold martini. And now we go into our second round, where we have Alan going up against Julian, and then we have Tyson going up against Ruby. Alan ended up finding his flow state. Alan's been here before, You know, at this point, Gabe is eliminated. Gabe is coaching him from the sideline. So as things are going and making sure things are getting clean, and Gabe and Alan, they work together at Hyde. So not only do they have work camaraderie, but they also have practice competition camaraderie. So they know how to correct each other without there being too many words. Julian, smooth bartender. I mean, his drinks come out good. He's adjusting. He knows how to modify service well on the fly. You can tell he's a professional guest bartender. But, you know, that's just sometimes the experience versus Alan, who's had a chance to lose a couple times, who knows what it feels like to get to this point and not get it done. And honestly, Alan had a very scary moment, which could have jeopardized everything, where he ended up breaking a glass in the well. But according to the rules, the glass did not break in the ice. And we ended up burning the ice. We checked everything, didn't break, so he was able to advance to the next round. Had he broke that glass in the ice, that glass that he did break, if it was on the ice, he would have been disqualified. Julian would advance to the next round. Next up, we have Tyson, then we have Ruby. Tell you what, man, one thing in Speedrailz you can't do, because we have a rule here. Once you make a drink, then you have to serve it on a coaster or a napkin for it to count. If you don't do it, you lose 20 seconds. Now, there's an inverse of that rule. You can't make a drink on top of a coaster or napkin, and that is exactly what Ruby did. In fact, not only did she do that, she didn't put rum in her mojito. Not putting a spirit inside of a drink is a 60-second infraction by itself. You start talking about that on top of temperatures, on top of, I think, 2 drinks made on top of the coasters, it was a death penalty. Another one of those instances where she has a huge crowd of people, you know, the adrenaline rush of making it past the first round, it's all there. There's a lot of distractions. And if you haven't prepared for those moments and then also been prepared for Speedrailz, it could be a hindrance. But Tyson, at the same time, he came in, locked in, he took the hat off, got the smooth ball head, he's glistening over there, he's picking it up, and I mean, his drinks are looking good. He ends up advancing to the finals. It is now Alan versus Tyson. Tell you what, man, this was an absolute banger. These guys were going neck and neck with each other. Tyson ends up coming out on this final tournament, but we're not done yet, because remember the craft cocktail competition? Remember how we're averaging the scores? Well, Tyson ended up coming 3rd in craft, while Alan ended up coming in 2nd. Now you look at the speed tournament, you have Tyson, who's came in 1st, and Alan in 2nd. So if you add up both of their placements, it equals a total of 4 divided in 2. They both average 2nd, which means we go into a sudden death overtime. We have to pull out blank score sheets. We have to come up with drinks right on the fly. And that's exactly what he did. Jose ended up coming up with 2 stirred cocktails. I think it was a Negroni and an old fashioned, plus a French 75. Tell you what, Alan, the way he walked into this round, knowing that he lost and he got a second chance, you could tell it was a weight lift off his shoulder, and he was absolutely fucking a bulldog. Raw time 4:54. That was the fastest raw time of anybody out here. He ends up winning that sudden death matchup, and he ends up becoming the best bartender in Dallas. And it was really ultimately because of what he was able to accomplish in his craft cocktail competition, which was an aspect he did not have a year ago until he joined Speedrailz and had a chance to work with Gabe as a result of Gabe seeing this guy's potential. So this has been a great development platform, and these guys once were their weakest skill sets have become their strengths and have become actual advantageous to them getting additional opportunities, man. So super excited to see Alan do his thing. I'm really excited to see Julian, Tyson, and Ruby, who are absolute rookies, not even having that much experience with Speedrailz, able to make it this far, able to digest the rules and come out here and execute. I see real big futures for them, and I'm excited to have them come back next year in the next tournament. But I want to thank all of my competitors for just putting their all into it, coming up with amazing cocktails, really focusing on our speed rules and understanding and digesting them. My special recipes, which are special for Speedrailz, and not traditional recipes, but we got to make them good for referee operations. And they knocked them out, and everything from them creating the craft cocktails to them being completely participant in the marketing and the media campaign process, which this is all about too. Is like we want people to work on their creativity, their mechanical execution, as well as their sociability, social media, in-person, networking, because all of those things ultimately comprise a great bartender. And I think all of the competitors did that, and hopefully all of them have become better. And more importantly, thank all of my event attendees who came and showed support. It really just shows you that these bartenders, they are all community builders in their own, and people want to support them because those bartenders have supported them in more ways than just making drinks. So all in all, Dallas was a success. Austin is up next. If you are a spirit or product sponsor looking to come help us push this, or a venue who want to help us host this, or you're a competitor who wants signs up and throw your hat in the ring, please reach out to us. We got all different activations coming up over the next year. And other than that, I think that's it. I think I'm done yapping. John Pittman out.